subject, parent bully. Okay, I guess we're gonna go with that this week. Um, why are we going with parent bully?
Well, some parents are bullies, but our like question of it is how can we teach parents to be aware of how they say things to their children, like the tone of what they say.
Okay. All right. Before we get into it, I want to just do a quick check in with you guys. How was your week last week? What did you like about last week's episode? Go ahead and put that down in the comments. I did not see any emails or any questions in when I did the check on the website. So, anything you guys want us to do, I'm thinking about doing some quick reels on the Facebook page, and maybe having some of the girls post on their, what is it you guys do, Snapchat? Or maybe not Snapchat, or anything on their pages to do some quick reels, or I think it's TikTok. That's what you guys do, TikTok. Something, just a quick little 30-second thing to say, hey, tune in to Teen Talk Tuesdays, drop your questions or any comments or any subjects that you guys want to incorporate, so we can do something that's more in line with what you guys want to see and discuss. Okay, so let's get into it. So, where do you want to steer this, Nalani, as far as parent bullying? Like, is it more me driven, since I guess it is? How do I feel about the parent bully situation? Because I get what you're saying, but give me something more.
Okay, so for example, like the way parents use their tones to where their children, or sometimes they'll just be like, shut up, or yes.
I don't say shut up.
Not you, but I'm thinking of somebody in particular. And, or they said, I don't know, I'm trying to give more examples because it does happen. Or like the way you say something, well, you could have said it better because, like, I didn't perceive it very well. And this is just what, like, everybody, actually, not just parents, but the focus is parents because they're the ones who usually do it and hurt their child's feelings.
Okay, I get that. Because, okay, I admit I do, and I've said this to you too. It's not always what you say, it's how you say it. Okay, so I get it. Okay, the other thing that I say to you is, there's a reason and there's an excuse. So, this is Teen Talk Tuesdays, but hopefully if you guys go back to your parent or whoever your guardian is, whoever is the adult that's in charge in your life, and hopefully they will receive it. What I tell Nalani is there's reasons and there's an excuse. And if you don't know, look it up. That's me having my parent moment. Reason are things that are valid, right? And an excuse is just something, it's a throwaway thing. You don't want to give people an excuse for why they say something or why they did something. And unfortunately, as a parent or a guardian, because we don't have a good reason, whether it be things came up at work, we're dealing with a lot, we're stressed, how we say things to you guys do not always come out in the way we intend for them to come out, right? And that should not be an excuse for how we relay what we're intending to say to you guys. Let me give you a good example. Milani, I told you to go wash the dishes, right? And you did not immediately go and do the dishes like I asked you to. And now I am HOT hot, right? You like, but Mom, I need to do XYZ, whatever you needed to do that you felt was important, right? Not that it wasn't important, But in my brain, in the parent brain or the guardian brain, this child did not do what I said to do. But in your brain, the child brain, oh, this X list of things was also important, right? Um, so you have to kind of look at, this is your stack of priorities. This is parent stack of priorities, right? So now you have to stack them against each other. So, wow, again, go back to reason and excuse. We have to now figure out, as the parent, we have to be cognizant of not allowing all of what our responsibilities are to outweigh what our kids' needs are. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Give me something else.
Well, going off of that, like sometimes if a parent is irritated because of something involving work, you can say, "Oh, I want to be alone right now." Just saying, "Oh, you're being annoying," or "You better get out my face," and it's like in a rude tone. Well, not rude, but it's like lower than your regular voice, like the tone of it. I'm trying to say, like, I can't figure out the word, but
Okay.
yeah.
I get what you mean. Okay. For example, yesterday, the same way you got, Nalani accuses me of acting like a teenager.
She does.
I am not the typical parent in that I try to learn from the way I was brought up and try to do better, because I want to have, part of why I do this with you guys, because I want to have the type of relationship, and I hope that all parents want to have the type of relationship where their child can come to them and be able to speak to them, and also so that I can learn to do better, because I don't always get things right. So I don't want any parents that come and see this be like, oh, this lady coming here and having these kids. Like, no, I don't always do this right. Nalani will attest to that I do that also, where I have said something to her in the incorrect tone, and I've not done it right? But I want her to be able to feel free to come to me and say, Mom, that was rude, you know, and then I have to be able to go back and correct that. So in that same vein, I want to help other parents, other guardians, like I said before, to be able to recognize that, and be able to take the time to step back and say, okay, these are the adulting things that we have to do. Be able to recognize that we cannot go through our lives and not address situations from our past and not correct it and move forward and let our children in future generations learn how to correct it now, so that them going forward can now do a better job with the next generation going forward, right? So the biggest thing that I want you guys to take from this episode is communication. Communication is key. If you learn now how to communicate effectively, not only with your parent, how to learn how to communicate effectively with each other. That's so important, because if you learn how to not speak to one another in anger, how to be able to take a breath to say, give me 10. Let me step away from you for a second before I respond to you, because it may not, what I want to say, while it may be truthful, let me not say it right now, because it's not going to come out in the way you're going to, where it's not going to be come out in a way that you're able to receive it and actually hear what I'm saying, versus hearing the anger and not the actual words, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, that's why in therapy they like tell people to be like, you have to say how you feel. You can't dictate how someone else is feeling, because that's only your assumption of how they feel. So communication is key, but sometimes it's really hard to actually practice doing that though.
Right. So that's another thing. if you guys can, is to learn to kind of role play, right? Um, I think I did something with Nalani and her cousins when they visited one time before, where they had gotten into it one time before. And I said, "Oh, come on, girls, we have to sit together and everybody get to take their turn to say how they felt about a situation, and then you could kind of calmly come together and say how you felt about what happened, about what the situation was." Um, because we're not ever going to be able to effectively get all our feelings out on the table and be able to hear each other. I don't know if other people's parents say it, you got two ears and one mouth for a reason. So you can listen more than you talk, because people don't listen. You listen to respond instead of listening to actually hear what the other person is saying. So one of the reasons that you sometimes get a parent bully is they don't effectively know how to communicate. And it's because they haven't learned how to effectively communicate. And so once we, even as adults, so yes, your parents don't always know, or your guardian doesn't always know how to effectively communicate with you guys. And that kind of goes back to even young, everybody, no matter who they are. One, don't know how to say I'm sorry. That's a hard thing for a lot of people. Don't know how to apologize and come back and say I'm sorry, to be able to admit fault, and to be able to go back and say, hey, can just give me a few minutes and then let me come back and respond to you. Okay, so I hope that helps you guys. Nalani, do you have anything to add to that before we kind of close this out, and then hopefully come back next week? Maybe we can touch back on this a little bit more.
Yeah, all I would add is that the exercises do help, like, how you made my cousins and I, just say how we each felt. And then one time I remember, one of us had an argument, and then we were at someone's house, and then you decided, like, we should do, like, a dance competition. You put, my cousin and I, who are arguing together, to go against my other cousins and the guest, to actually connect and have an end goal that's in common to beat the other person. So those are good too.
Right. Yeah. So, yeah. So even if you are upset with each other, you can always come back together, because feelings change, right? So you're not always going to say, there's nothing wrong with anger. It's staying angry. That's the problem. Okay?
Yeah.
So, again, know that you guys are loved. You're special. You are important. If nobody tells you that, remember to tell yourselves that. We care about you guys. We hope to see you guys next week. Back for another Team Talk Tuesday. We appreciate you guys so much. Thank you for joining us. Remember to like, share, and subscribe.
Yeah.
See you next week. Bye.